Loving enough to let go. Act 1. A different kind of love walks in. Welcome to the tavern, my friend. A quiet place drifting between worlds, where people come when their hearts are carrying something they can't put into words yet. I can see it in your eyes, that heavy, tangled feeling. That only happens when love has grown too large to hold comfortably. Sit with me, warm yourself by the fire. Tonight I'll tell you a story of someone who walked through that door with a heart a lot like yours. He was a young man, gentle, overwhelmed, and full of a love that scared him. Not the kind of fear that comes from danger, but the fear that comes from knowing you might lose something precious. He took one long, slow breath and said, "Lion, I have found someone who feels like the brightest part of my life, but I'm starting to wonder if holding on to her is the same as holding her back." Ah, that kind of pain. The quiet kind. The kind that hides inside the ribs and pretends to be strength. He told me she was the kind of soul who moved like the wind, free, curious, beautiful in her restlessness. Someone who could turn an ordinary day into a miracle by showing up. And he loved her so much that he tried to keep her close, to protect what he saw as fragile. But the more tightly he held that love, the more he felt her slipping like sand through his fingers. Not because she didn't care, but because some hearts are made to move, to grow, to fly. He came here because he didn't know the truth yet. He didn't know that sometimes love becomes too heavy, not because it's wrong, but because it's growing beyond the shape that we're trying to force it into. And so he asked the question that brings many to this tavern. How do I love someone without losing them, and without losing myself? Well, my friend, the story that follows is the answer he found. Act 2. When Love Must Choose. He came back to this tavern between worlds many times, each visit more uncertain than the last. One night he told me, "Lion, if I let her go, I'll break, but if I keep her close, I'll break her." My friend, that is the moment love becomes a crossroads, not of romance, but of courage. So I asked him, "Tell me, when you think of her future, do you see yourself or do you see her shining?" He looked into his cup and whispered, "I see her shining." That's when the truth rose between us like mist. Love isn't always meant to be a cage of safety. Sometimes love is a window, a doorway, a release. You see, some souls are made of wind. You can't hold wind. You can only stand beside it, appreciate its warmth, and let it move as it must. The young man wasn't ready to hear that yet. So I told him a story within a story. There are two kinds of love, I said. The kind that grows roots and the kind that grows wings. Roots love by holding you steady. Wings love by lifting you higher. But wings cannot grow in cages, even golden ones. He sat in silence for a long time, and he finally asked, "If I set her free, Lion, does that mean I never mattered?" I leaned in. looked him straight in the soul, and told him you mattered enough that she learned how to fly. Act 3. The hardest kind of love. The night he made his choice, the tavern felt different, quieter, softer, like the world was holding its breath. He came in quietly and said, "Lion, I told her she was free, truly free, no guilt, no waiting, no promises that she didn't ask for." And then, with a tremor in his voice, he said, "I told her that loving her taught me how to love myself, and that wherever she flies, I will be grateful that our paths crossed." He didn't cry, but his soul did. And that's when I realized something important, something I want to share with you, my friend. Letting someone go isn't the end of love, it's the evolution of it. It's love choosing honesty over possession, love choosing their happiness over your fear, love maturing from desire into blessing. He thought setting her free would break him, but instead it broke him open. He discovered that the heart doesn't empty when you release someone, it expands. He learned that her joy was not a loss, but a light he could carry forward. And one day, as he stood at her horizon and watched her fly toward her own life, he whispered, "Thank you for letting me love you long enough to learn how to let you go." My friend, if you're here tonight, maybe you're standing at your own crossroads. Maybe you're holding someone whose wings are starting to move. Maybe your heart is whispering the truth that you're afraid to speak. So hear me. Sometimes the greatest act of love is releasing someone without resentment, letting them continue their story even when it no longer aligns with yours, letting them shine even if the light hurts your eyes. And if you do, the love doesn't vanish. It changes shape. It becomes softer, wiser, kinder. And one day you'll look back and realize you didn't lose them. You transformed, and you grew wings of your own. Now rest as long as you need, my friend. The Tavern Between Worlds has room for all hearts learning how to let go.